Yes. Saludos programas. It is, we're a little bit early, but that's okay. It is Friday and we had the Rampage. So it is time for the AEW Rampage Cleanup Crew Review. I am Adolfo the Nerdy Puerto Rican, and here with me is Alice.
That's me.
And we are your plebeian perspective for this episode of AEW Rampage. And we started this episode off with, on paper, a match that I thought was going to be a lot more exciting than it was. Probably unpopular opinion. But we had Jon Moxley with Shane Taylor at ringside. And yeah, it was a slow start.
It was a slow start. I didn't like this match. It put me to sleep.
Yeah.
We live on the East Coast, so it starts late. We have 2 kids, and if I'm going to watch something, I don't want the first match to be...
Yeah, so it was definitely a bit of a different Jon Moxley match because there was a lot more technicality that was going back and forth between the two. Because we're so used to Mox coming out and just like getting to a slugfest and then bleeding.
That's true.
And then
I forgot that was who that was.
Yeah.
But yes.
And then on the flip side, I'm more used to, especially recently having watched a lot of Ring of Honor, more used to Keith Lee doing a bit more of a high energy, high flying attack than he did today. He had some moves, but yeah, it was just very meh as a beginner.
It was not their best opener.
Not their best opener. It was so meh that the way we got Jon Moxley to win was that Jon Moxley sunk a sleeper hold on Keith Lee and put him out. And that was it.
And leading up to the match too, they were talking about the last time they fought, this is how he won, and it was exactly the same.
Yeah,
which is boring.
Yeah, which then led to, at the end, Jon Moxley tried to shake Keith Lee's hand, and then Shane Taylor came and snuck Jon Moxley, and then Keith Lee and Shane Taylor began to lump up Jon Moxley. So not really sure where they're going with this story, if we're going to be seeing Keith Lee and Shane Taylor. I believe in ROH, and again, I've only watched 3 weeks worth of ROH, so I'm still a little, but I believe in ROH, their faction is the Shane Taylor Productions, the STP, and which Keith Lee is part of. So if this is their way of bringing the Shane Taylor bringing that faction into AEW,
this is the one they were talking about, the Blackpool Combat Club.
Jon Moxley's part of the Blackpool Combat Club.
I totally misinterpreted what the commentators were saying then. My bad.
Which actually also begged the question, being part of the Blackpool Combat Club, when Keith Lee and Shane Taylor started lumping up Jon Moxley, where were they? Yeah, where was BCC? Where was Yuta? Where was Bryan Danielson? Where was Claudio?
Suspiciously absent.
Yeah, suspicious. I don't know. I personally think that they're building up to a Moxley breaking away from the BCC, but we'll see.
That's possible. We'll see. And then I guess they're trying to make the other two look a little more heel-ish.
Yeah. There could be better ways to do it, but it is what it is. So then that brought us to our first spot of the night. We had Renee Paquette, who was
on this week.
Okay.
Thank goodness. Gosh, we had a couple weeks there. She was talking, and I'm like, why does she do this? She clearly hates this job. But this week she was on. So.
All right. So we had Renee Paquette backstage with Anna Jay and Cool Hand Edge, because Anna Jay was going to be facing Ruby Soho. So if you have not been following the storyline, Ruby Soho and Cool Hand Edge have been starting this like romance thing, and Saraya has not been liking it.
She's not supportive.
And last week, Saraya had Harley Cameron come in and set up Cool Hand Edge by having Harley Cameron kiss Cool Hand Edge and Saraya tape it. And then they showed Ruby Soho, and Ruby Soho actually initially went after Harley Cameron, because Harley Cameron was the one that was making out with Cool Hand Ange, or I should say kissed. It wasn't make out, they kissed because Cool Hand Ange pushed her away. But before Ruby could fully lump up, Harley Cameron came out and said, "Oh, it was Anna Jay that did it." So Ruby Soho wanted to throw down with Anna Jay, and that's how we got to the match tonight. And basically, the spot was Cool Hand Ange asking Anna Jay if...
No, it was not.
Oh?
No, it was not.
Okay.
It was Renee Paquette talking to Anna, asking her a question. Mm-hmm. And Cool Hand Ange, every single spot this woman has, there's a man who comes in and steals the microphone. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. No more. And thank goodness she was also tired of it. And she said, "I'm done with you. I was here to protect you, and I was going to, fight in your honor. And now I'm doing it for myself." I'm like, yes, girl, please. Enough of these spots. Cutting her off. I'm over it.
That's what happened. And that led us to our next match of the night, which was Konosuke Takeshita with the Don Callis family against the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels. And hi, JBL. It's JBL.
I can see. Yeah. I can read.
And yeah, so for all intents and purposes, it was a squash match. I
agree. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Because I think, sorry, I'm
stepping
ahead. All over you tonight.
No.
Takeshita, I think, is such a good wrestler and very engaging. And it always makes me a little disappointed to see when he has like shorter matches and squash matches. But it felt like that setup from the beginning. You felt like I was expecting that there would be a squash.
Yeah. Well, and then also, again, after watching Ring of Honor for the last 3 weeks, and I've actually seen what Christopher Daniels can do. He's actually a good wrestler.
That didn't show.
Tonight.
I don't think that showed.
I appreciate the series of headbutts that Christopher Daniels laid into Takeshita, but it pretty much Daniels came out aggressive, but after one big lariat, Takeshita just took over and got the 1, 2, 3, which then led into a Don Callis grabbing the mic and calling out Chris Jericho. And now we're going to have, I believe, this upcoming week on Dynamite, it's going to be Kyle Fletcher versus Chris Jericho. And then after that, it's going to be Takeshita Jericho Part 2. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
I don't know. I wanted them to take a little bit of a different angle, right? When Fletcher stole the mic from Callis, I was like, oh my God, you're in trouble. And I really wanted there to be some fractures there and for Fletcher to face some immediate consequences.
Yeah.
And no, we didn't get that. It was all like focusing on Jericho, and it feels tired.
And I've said this before on various other shows, and I said this while we were watching it, but that stable, that Don Callis family stable of Powerhouse Hobbs, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher they're good wrestlers and they're powerful wrestlers. And I feel like they're just being wasted going after Jericho and Jericho's partner of the week. It's time to have these guys move on, and so we can take them seriously, go after a more credible tag team threat or trio team threat, however we're putting this team together. Let's have them go after FTR. Let's have them go after Mogul Embassy. Let's have them go after House of Black on Collision. Heck, let's have them kick the tree and start bugging Ricky Starks and Big Bill for the championship. I think that we're spinning our wheels with this whole Jericho thing. Let's move on, Don Callis. Let's move on. So this then led to our next spot of the night, where we had Renee Paquette talking to Top Flight and Action Andretti.
Yeah, I recognized him this time. So proud of myself.
And again, they were talking with Private Party again, and it looks like they're having a rematch.
Yeah, they got to be building something.
Yeah.
I didn't Like, I was very happy that Renee was like on this week, but I still wasn't sure what the point of this particular spot was.
Yeah. Top Flight's going to give you a great match. Private Party is going to give you a great match.
Yeah.
But again, I think we can break this rivalry up and have them go after someone else for a little bit, unless we are setting up for some sort of Top Flight Private Party like beef going on, which okay, fine. I just feel that match this is going to be the second match with Private Party and Top Flight, and I think it's just a little too close together. If you're gonna do a match too, okay, fine, but give it like a month, 2 months to build and have one group run in while the other one is wrestling and interfere, yada 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 yada. But that's me. That's my lizard brain. My 2 cents on the whole thing. So,
okay.
There we go. Which then brought us to the aforementioned Ruby Soho Anna Jay match.
Yes.
Alice, what'd you think about this one?
I liked this match. This was a good match. I've seen Anna Jay lose a lot, and I'm like, I was getting a little tired of watching her lose, so I was hoping for a win for Anna Jay, especially because she didn't. Oh, see, I was going to remind you about these that I thought maybe you didn't actually do them because you keep forgetting. Okay.
The slides.
The slides.
We're professional here, people.
Yeah. She definitely was super vested, especially with the spot earlier, saying that she's going to fight for herself, that she knows that she didn't set up this whole drama thing. You could tell that she was really vested in the fight, which really mattered to me. And so she did end up with the win via tap out.
Yeah.
And I loved this. And some people maybe didn't catch it. She screamed like right before she pinned or put Ruby in the submission hold. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then pinned her and Ruby tapped out. So my perception is that she cleared her name.
Yes.
By winning,
Yep.
by saying that she didn't do it, and by winning.
Yep.
Because it was fairly clear in the physical storytelling that Ruby tapped out almost immediately.
Yep.
Which to me tells me that Ruby believes her. Now, if that's all going to change next week, I don't know. Right. But right now, that's how I'm choosing to interpret.
Yes. Yeah. We unfortunately didn't get any post-match spots with Saraya, Harley Cameron, Ruby Soho, or Anna Jay. So we're going to have to wait until, I guess, Dynamite or something a little later on in the week to see what the reaction, Ruby Soho's reaction, and what Saraya and Harley Cameron's reaction is going to be. But yeah, that's what my takeaway was from the storytelling of the match, was that Anna Jay did clear her name. Some other notable parts of the match, Saraya and Harley Cameron did come down with Ruby Soho,
and they got caught,
and
and they got ejected.
They did. They got tossed out.
Get out.
After they got caught.
Oh, I'm so ready for them to get caught by Ruby. It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
I hope it's going to be good.
Yeah. So when it did ended up just being Ruby versus Anna Jay without Harley and Saraya, that's when Anna Jay was able to take over, and she sunk in the Queen Slayer and said I didn't do it.
That was her third, I believe, the third Queen Slayer of the match.
Yes.
So she'd pulled that out.
She'd been working it.
She'd been working it.
So then after that, stand still notes.
No.
Yeah, gravity.
No.
So then after that, we had a spot again, Renee Paquette backstage with Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston voiced his disapproval of Bryan Danielson and said that he was going to extend a challenge to Willie Mack to defend Eddie's Continental Crown, and that he was gonna pass on Bryan Danielson. So what'd you think of the spot?
I don't like Eddie, I'll be honest. I know I'm in the minority. I know that. But I don't like him. And I tuned out. Didn't listen. He showed up. He was by himself. He wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking at Renee. And I'm like, obviously what you have to say is not that important. So I'm not listening. Sorry.
So then, after that spot, we had the freshly squeezed 4-way, where we had El Hijo del and the Butcher and Kip Sabian.
Ken.
Ken.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what he looks
Yes.
like.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's Kip, not Ken. I could still see him in a Barbie package.
Hey.
Kip.
Yeah. Okay.
Barbie's friend, Kip.
Yeah, that's Barbie's friend Kip.
So anyway.
Yep. I can't unsee it. Every time I look at him, I'm like, he's just like a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
He just is. He's Kip, Barbie's friend Kip. Anyway, with the leopard print. I can't. Okay. I'm sorry.
This was a great match. This was a great match. This was a great main event match. There was a lot of energy. Of course, you knew with Vikingo and Commander coming in that there was going to be a lot of high energy with this match. I felt that the Butcher was actually physically a good yin to the yang for Commander and Vikingo.
I agree. I think that's always very interesting when they put the different types together like that. I think makes for a very engaging match. So I did like that a lot.
Yeah. And then I felt that Kip Sabian, Ken, did play his part and play his role of like just being a troublemaker. He wasn't really a big decision changer in the match. No. He did have some good. He had that one botch off the top rope.
Yeah.
He
I was worried for him for a second.
Yeah,
but he seemed to bounce right back.
Yeah, he tried to do some sort of leap to the top rope and then come off the top rope and try for a Hurricane Rana or something like that, but he botched it, missed. Either his feet didn't land on the rope or
he hit the rope with his feet.
Then the rope gave too much or something like that, but he ended up like half hitting Commander and half falling on his face.
Yeah.
So it was interesting.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of great back and forth. We had a lot of great storytelling because there were 4 people in the ring. You didn't have the luchadors do the normal spastic luchador thing where it's 15 minutes of them just going like high energy.
I did miss that.
Yeah.
I like watching that.
Yeah. No, yeah. I love me my luchadors. You know?
Yeah.
And I was worried. I will admit, I was worried coming into this that this was going to be the stereotypical, we're bringing the luchadors in to make the other guys look good. But I was wrong because Commander got the win and is facing Orange Cassidy on tomorrow night's Collision for Orange Cassidy's belt,
which was a pleasant surprise for me. Yeah. I went into this like hoping that Vikingo would win, but knowing that his chances of winning were low. And then when Commander won, I was like, oh my gosh, like he wasn't the one I wanted, but it was a luchador. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing what that match between him and Orange Juice looks like.
Orange Juice, yeah. It's gonna be a high energy match. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's gonna be also interesting if they actually have Orange Cassidy drop the belt. I just feel no, they really couldn't do that because they have Neck Strong. What's his face? The dude that was part of the Devil Squad. Adam. Anyway, him. He's gunning for Orange Cassidy's belt. That's going to be the big.
So not Adam.
No, not Adam Cole. The other Roddy Strong. Thank you, JVL. Yes, Roddy Strong. They have Roddy Strong and the whole Kingdom thing going where they're going to be going after Orange Cassidy's belt. So I don't think that Commander will win tomorrow night.
It might be nice if he did.
Yeah, he could, and then drops it in a week because that's happened before. But other than that, it was an enjoyable. I
think of the 3 that I've reviewed with you, this one, even though the first match was a sleeper, literally.
Waka waka.
I think this was my favorite so far.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know that the both of us at the end of Rampage, we were like, that was it?
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
around
I
like
was
that.
like
I
excited
had to
to
go through my
watch
notes.
more.
Yeah. And it's based off of that. We do now need to give the official Bi-Conics and Panada scale for AEW Rampage.
Out of 10, right?
Yes, as per the Dark Bi-Conics Council of Shadows and their memo that they sent. Only 10. It has to be 10. 10
Only
empanadas.
10
10 empanadas.
I'm not giving 10.
So I give this an 8 out of 10.
I agree.
It was entertaining. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna look in the camera when I say this. It was as entertaining as the ROH shows that I've been watching, and those have been really entertaining. Watch ROH. Anyway.
Okay. Are you trying to tell me something?
No,
Yeah, I agree. 8 out of 10 empanadas for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your match? Match of the night.
My match of the night?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's obvious for me. The match of the night for me was Ruby versus Anna Jay.
Okay.
That was the match for me. It could, like, if the Takeshita match was not squash.
Yeah.
It would have been that, but it was a squash match. In my opinion, that's a no. Somebody else telling me to watch ROH. Yeah, so it's going to be the Anna Jay versus Ruby match for me. That was the match of the night for me.
Okay. My match of the night, of course, was the main event, the freshly squeezed 4-way, because pretty much anytime Viking goes in the ring.
I did love him. I just 4 ways I'm still like watching.
That is our review of AEW Rampage for January 26th. Hang tight. We are going to be back in a moment, or at least I'll be back, or you could be back too. But we're going to go through some news and then a little wrap up, and then we'll be off. But just don't go nowhere. News is coming up. If I can get this transition.
You gotta click on it.
I got this transition.
Baby, déjame ser el que te complace. En mi mente corriendo base. Me quedo contigo, pase lo que pase. Baby, espero que me ames. Me tiene volando en el cielo como las aves. Ey, en the pambinanes. Todo un sueño el debo, ya lo sabe. Juro que yo hago de todo pa' ti. Como rábame todo de ti. Y yo te doy todo de mí. Hay mujeres de todo pa' mí.
And we are back. And I'm here with some hot tag news. This first thing that I do want to cover is actually definitely on the more serious side. And I do just want to put the disclaimer that as of right now, these are still all allegations, and investigation is pending. But earlier this week, former WWE employee Janelle Grant did file a lawsuit that stated that she was the victim of physical, emotional abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking at WWE. These allegations were levied against the former head of the WWE, who at the time was a higher up in TKO, or who now or earlier was a higher up at TKO, Vince McMahon. There has been some back and forth, but earlier tonight, World Wrestling Entertainment founder Vince McMahon stepped down from his role with the company TKO and its parent company Friday after he has been accused with these allegations. McMahon tendered his resignation. This is from NBC News, NBCnews.com. McMahon rendered his resignation from his positions as TKO executive chairman and on the TKO board of director, and will no longer have a role with WWE President Nick Khan, wrote in an email to employees Friday night. Again, that broke earlier tonight that Vince McMahon has resigned from any dealings that he has with TKO and with WWE. Moving on. I got some other news here for y'all. Earlier this week, we got some news about Finn Balor and his WWE contract. Finn Balor, okay, he's not an AEW guy, but he's still a great wrestler. I love watching him and the Judgment Day. But it's being reported that his contract is set to expire after WrestleMania. And not only is it set to expire at WrestleMania. That's up in the air. But the WWE has not been approached. The WWE has not approached him to renew his contract yet. As per Fightful Select reporting, Fightful has confirmed with sources close to Balor that his WWE contract is up this year, but they claim it is not immediately after WrestleMania. Instead, saying it would be up within a few months of WrestleMania. There are some reports that say it's 4 months after WrestleMania. There's some reports saying that it's less. The big question mark is, of course, if WWE is going to approach him to re-up his contract. We hope they do. As of late, apparently it has been a thing where WWE hasn't been aggressively going after people to re-up their contracts. I believe the most recent one was Drew McIntyre, where his contract is up. They didn't aggressively go after him, but he ended up staying with the company, and now he's got a good little feud going on. We know Finn Balor is part of the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day is one, if not the most popular faction in WWE right now. We'll see. Even if Finn Balor doesn't end up re-signing with WWE, he's going to land at another big promotion quickly because he's a great talent that people are going to be fighting to get their hands on. Moving on to some AEW news. We have an update on Chica, Okada, and Mercedes Monae, and them signing on with AEW. The update is from Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, and he reports regarding Chica, Okada, and Mercedes Monae. The belief from this side, AEW, is that both will be starting soon. Monae was doing acting work, but there is talk her debut will be played up extremely big, and that announcement could be soon. She has been back training to return to the ring. Her coming to AEW was expected for months, even before they showed her at Wembley. For Okada, the last word was that he had not made up his mind. I know people here range from hopeful to I'd perceive as confident he will be coming to AEW. If he was to sign, the likely arrival would be around the Greensboro show with his final New Japan date on February 24th. So Mercedes Monae, a.k.a. Sasha Banks, a.k.a. Casca Reeves, I think, from The Mandalorian. Very popular female wrestler. There has been a lot of scuttlebutt of her going to AEW. There was a lot of that talk earlier last year around this time that she was going to be going to AEW. And she has been doing a lot of acting gigs, not only with The Mandalorian, but there have been some other shows and some other movies that she has been working on. And she also did get an injury wrestling Willow Nightingale later in 2023 at a NJPW show. So she did have to rehab back from that ankle injury, which probably pushed this whole thing back. There have been some reports that Mercedes has actually also talked to WWE, but apparently those talks really didn't go anywhere. So it does look like we are going to be seeing Mercedes Monae gracing the AEW ring in the near future. As for Okada, we do know that Okada has spoken out that he has commitments to fulfill with NJPW. So wherever he goes, he's not going to be going until those commitments are met. Earlier this month, and I think earlier this week, there was talk that he was going to be going to WWE and signing a deal with WWE for a development deal within WWE. Not sure what happened there, but now the pendulum has swung and it looks like he is leaning towards AEW. We do know that Tony Khan has numerous times has talked up about Okada coming to AEW. We will see. As the man Mick Foley so aptly said, anything can happen. Heck, CM Punk is back in WWE. So we just gotta wait and see. And the final tidbit of news that we have is that earlier this week, apparently there was rumors going around that MJF and Tony Khan that MJF and Tony Khan had some sort of fallout, and then that MJF was leaving AEW, and we would see him in WWE during the Royal Rumble. But as per Fightful Select, there were untrue rumors that picked up saying that MJF and Tony Khan had a falling out this past week. MJF is still recovering from injuries and, barring some catastrophic miracle, won't be in the WWE Royal Rumble. So it looks like, again, this always seems to happen where this like pops out where someone says MJF is going to WWE, and then that kind of starts gaining traction. I think it was Fightful Select that said that it was a spot to just keep MJF in people's purview while he is recovering, because he was really banged up when he dropped the belt to Samoa Joe at World's End. And yeah, as long as he's healing and getting stronger, so that when he comes back, he's all healed up, and we do get an 100% MJF, that'd be great. Do I want to see him stay in AEW? Yes, I've been a big vocal proponent of MJF staying in AEW. I feel that WWE is not suited for MJF, although I do know that WWE is the big show. I feel that MJF is going to get lost in just the amount of talent that they have there and that they're trying to push. I do feel that MJF is AEW is his home, and AEW is the place where they will let him be MJF, for lack of a better term. Those of you that watch AEW, and those of you that know MJF, you know what I mean when I say let MJF be MJF. And I feel that AEW is the place where that will happen. And that's it for our hot tag news. Yeah, wrestling has been, in 2024 so far, it's been really good. We got a lot of good stuff coming in from WWE, AEW. It feels like, even though there's been some hiccups, the stories have still been consistent and the wrestling has been good. ROH, if you're not watching at least one episode of ROH, if you're a fan of wrestling, and especially if you're a fan of that old school wrestling storytelling, ROH is just great. And then TNA Wrestling is in talks with Paramount Plus to stream over on Paramount Plus. So this is a great time to be a wrestling fan, with all the wrestling that we have access to. It's great to see. As wrestling fans, I feel that we need to do our best so that certain negative news drawing individuals, not just to certain companies, but just to the sport as a whole, that we can have people look past those negative news, because wrestling lately, it has been so entertaining. And in all the years that I've watched wrestling, I have not seen such great talent on my screen and in the ring that I can remember. And this is including the early days when I was a kid watching 80s WWFs and all the promotions that were back then. Definitely, let's be wrestling fans. Let's have our friendly rivalries between this, that, and the other. Let's remember that we are wrestling fans, and this is all ours. And let's just nurture it and give it the love that it so richly deserves, so that it can take off. And that's it for the Friday Night Rampage Cleanup Crew review. Plus, I am Adolfo the Nerdy Puerto Rican. And for Alice, we would just like to remind you, oh, wait, no, I got to do the social media thing. Sorry. Okay. Please, if you like what you're seeing, depending on where you're watching, like, subscribe to us on Twitch, subscribe to us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, give us a thumbs up. We do have all different shows for all the different wrestling promotions going on right now. We have content that comes out daily new content, fresh content that comes out daily throughout the week. Please definitely tune in for that. Also, we do have a Patreon, so if you feel so inclined, please go check out our Patreon. You can, one of the things that you, being a Patreon member, you'll get is you can sit in and watch some of the pay-per-views with us, because there's Royal Rumbles this weekend, so you can watch us yuck it up while we watch the Royal Rumble. And other than that, yeah, I'm Adolfo from the Nerdy Puerto Rican, and please remember that I'm Bi-Conic, you're Bi-Conic, we are all Bi-Conic. Hablamos luego. I stole it from you, JVL. Bye.